Hello friends, welcome into a new video. It's been so long since I've posted on YouTube, but we're back, I'm back, and I am happy to see you all. If you are new here, my name's Lisa. Hello, hi, nice to meet you. And I am a health and lifestyle blogger based in Austin, Texas. So today is a video that I've been wanting to make for a while now, but I just wanted to wait a few months until everything kind of settled in and I got the full effects of the surgery. So LASIK is an acronym. I'm not exactly sure what it stands for, but it is a type of eye surgery that is meant to help people that are nearsighted. So if you can't see far, it's supposed to help you be able to see far. It's super cool and it just works so well. So I really wanted to make this video to kind of share my experience and just provide context for if you're thinking about LASIK or somebody you know, or you're just curious and you want to know more about what it's like. So without further ado, let's get into it. I'll start by sharing my experience and what that's been like for me, just kind of how I got to this point of deciding that I wanted to get LASIK. I've worn glasses basically for as long as I can remember. I don't remember what my first prescription was. It must have been like minus 0.75 or -1 or something like that. And from there continued the downward spiral, I guess. It did get to the point where I would need to wear them all the time to even just be able to function as a person. So fast forward to I think my vision started to kind of peak or plateau when I was in college. So maybe I was like 19, 20 years old. When I went to get LASIK, they tested my eyes and the final reading was -8.25 in my right eye and -8.5 in my left. I'd never been actually diagnosed with it, but I am pretty sure I was legally blind at that point. Like, if somebody told me to go somewhere and do something without my glasses, I'd be like, I can't. So the fact that my vision had plateaued at that point made me a really good candidate for LASIK, because they don't want you going in there if your eyesight is constantly changing or if it's like still progressively getting worse. They want to make sure that you kind of hit this constant. And my eyes would fluctuate a little bit, like between 8.25, 8.5, but ultimately it kind of stayed steadily around that point. And so I was a good candidate for LASIK. And I guess I should go into kind of the reasons I wanted to get LASIK. I always knew that I wanted to do it because even back when I was wearing glasses, I really wanted to get contacts, and my eyes are so freaking dry. It's like the Sahara Desert up in these things. But I could not wear contacts. Like, I could put them in, they'd be fine for maybe an hour, but it just was not sustainable for me, because after that hour I would have to start putting in the eye drops constantly. And once I start putting in the eye drops, like, I couldn't stop. Like, my eyes just needed them, and I needed to constantly put in eye drops like every 10 minutes in order to function with contacts. So contacts was not a good choice for me, but I really wanted to be out in the world and not have to wear glasses. Also, my lashes are really long. Like, I am wearing mascara right now, but even without it, my eyelashes are really long, and so when I would wear glasses, they would like constantly hit my glasses and it'd be really annoying, and even more so when I'd wear makeup. So LASIK was definitely on my mind for a really long time. Like, it was something I knew I wanted to invest in, and so I would say if you're thinking about getting LASIK, really kind of sit with yourself and kind of establish your why. Like, why do you want to get LASIK? What would it mean for you to be out in the world without having to wear glasses, with having perfect vision? At that point, my vision was so horrible, for lack of a better word, that I could not even imagine what it would be like. And I just knew that for me, it would be a really great confidence boost. I always loved how I looked without glasses. Every time I would take pictures, I would make sure to take my glasses off. I used to always joke around that when somebody would like compliment my eyes or something, I'd be like, oh, thanks, they're just for decoration. But I didn't necessarily want that to be the case forever. I wanted them to be, of course, I guess a decorative piece, but a functionally decorative piece. Like, I wanted my eyes to work. Once I established my why and I became a good candidate for the surgery, so basically in my experience and with speaking with the place that I got my LASIK from, 2 criteria need to be met in order to be a good candidate for LASIK. So one I already talked about, you need to have had consistent, like a consistent visual prescription for, I think, at least 2 or 3 years. The second thing, and when you go in for your LASIK consult, they'll test you for this, but your cornea needs to be thick enough for them to perform the surgery. And when they did it for me, I guess my cornea apparently was like super thick. So they ended up deciding that yes, I was a good candidate for this surgery. The place I went to was very transparent about those things, and I really appreciated that because it's an expensive surgery and you want to go somewhere that will tell you straight up if you're not a good candidate, because they do want to make sure that you're going in knowing all the information you need to, being informed, and then kind of making that like educated decision. So now I'll go into basically what the whole process was like. So I had my consult, determined that LASIK was right for me. And so from there, what it was like was I scheduled my surgery date, which was the end of February of 2021. There wasn't like a ton of prep as far as I remember leading up to the surgery. I think having to maybe use some eye drops leading up to the surgery. Someone wants to be part of the fun. Come on, bud. Come on. Say hi. Hello. This is Toothless, everybody. Quick kitty break. He's not actually toothless, but if you've seen How to Train Your Dragon, we named him after the dragon because look, he looks just like him. Same mannerisms, so had to be his namesake. Right, bud? Hello, everybody. Look at my beans. They're black. Anyway, on the day of surgery, I had to wake up early and get there well before the surgery, I think about an hour and a half, just because they do like a preliminary test again just to see if anything has changed. For me, obviously it didn't. And then I went into a room where I met with the surgeon who was actually going to be performing the surgery. I had read a lot about him. He's very, very reputable, a very good surgeon. This place had glowing reviews, so I did a lot of research, and so I wasn't, taken aback by anything. And that's another thing when you're looking to get LASIK, make sure you do tons of research on the place. So I'm talking Google reviews, I'm talking make sure you ask anything and everything during your consult. Just make sure that you're well informed before you go with an organization. So after meeting with the surgeon, I was in room with a nurse, I think, and she was able to give me the medication that you take before the surgery. At this place, it was Valium. I think that's kind of the norm across the board, if I'm not mistaken. Valium is a muscle relaxant. It's supposed to kind of like calm you. It's definitely not an anesthetic, but it does sort of just kind of slow things down a little bit, relax the body, because you are awake for this surgery, and so the Valium is kind of supposed to help just keep you calm. And then I wore like a surgical cap, like one of those blue looking like shower caps basically, and I went back out into the waiting area, and I was there for about 20-25 minutes while the Valium kicked in. Boy, did it kick in. Honestly, I kind of liked it. It was weird. It made me feel very like relaxed. Like I could feel my limbs just like so I kind of liked the way that I felt on the Valium. Guys, drug misuse and abuse is not good. So then I got called into the actual surgical room. So it was time for the surgery, so I laid down on the table. There were kind of these like big machines on both sides of me, and there was like a surgical nurse that was there. She was in front of me. They gave me a stuffed animal to hold during the surgery. It was really cute and honestly really helped. Like I squeezed the crap out of that thing. And the surgeon was like, if I'm laying down right now, he was like right over here kind of doing his thing. It's very difficult to describe what the surgery was like. Like whenever people ask me, I'm always just like, it was just weird. It felt very wet. I don't know if that's because my eyes were like I was crying, or it was the eye drops they were putting in. It was probably a mix of both. But they put the eye drops in. One of them I think was like a lubricant. The other one was a numbing agent. So basically your eyes are like kind of numb. You don't really feel what's happening at all, which is both scary and good, because yeah, no, I'm awake during the surgery. I don't want to feel anything. So what they do after numbing your eyes is they take like a speculum type thing, which is just kind of supposed to hold open your eye. And because your eye is numb, like you would think, oh, well, what if you need to blink or something? Because my eye was numb, I didn't really feel the need to blink. Like I didn't even feel the urge to at all. So yeah, they hold your eye open, and then you kind of see the machine coming down towards you. I'm being really like detailed about this because I've always wanted to know, even before I got LASIK, I wanted to know exactly what it was like no BS, just tell me straight up how it is. So I hope you guys appreciate that about this. I know it's like maybe a little graphic, but I just want to be as transparent as possible about what it was like. So the machine is coming down. It's not quite all the way down yet, and all of a sudden I saw this green light, and they told me to stare at that. So my eyes held open, and my objective was just keep staring at that green light, do not look away, and just to kind of not try to like close my eye or anything like that. So I was staring at the light. The machine came down a little bit closer until it was kind of like touching my eye. Now, again, I didn't really feel this so much. And then from there is the really hard to describe feeling of no pain. Honestly, I felt absolutely no pain during the surgery. I did feel like a slight pressure. Step by step, kind of what happened was the machine came down. Instead of like using a scalpel or something to cut through the cornea, they actually used laser technology. So they cut my cornea and made that like flap with a laser. And then from there, the big machine shaped my cornea into where it needed to be to get to that 20/20 vision, which I think is just so dope. Like the fact that we can like manipulate people's eye shape and like back to where they were like when you were born is crazy. So that's kind of the only time I felt that pressure, and it did feel really weird. Again, it didn't hurt. And then when I was done, it literally took like maybe 5 minutes, if even. And then they moved on and did the same thing on the other eye. So basically I was in and out of there in like 10 minutes. It's a very, very fast surgery. And I kind of was like, oh, we're done? Like when you first come out of it, so you do see clearly right away. It just kind of looks like, you know how if you have ever worn contacts, when you first put them in, and they were like diluted in the like saline, when you first put them in, they look like a little watery. That's kind of what it looked like. And after that, I walked over to like another testing table where they basically just kind of made sure that the cornea was shaped correctly, and that like the flap was sealed back to where it needed to be. And then after that, I was given these, I wish I still had them to show you guys. They're basically like eye shields that I wore on my eyes. They were like taped to my face, and I had to wear those for the first day. So we drove back home. I was still kind of like from the Valium. I was pretty emotional. I find that anytime I get a surgery or like a procedure done, I do get kind of emotional after. Like, I remember my wisdom tooth surgery, coming out of it, that one I was put under, as I think people usually are, but like I came out of it and I was just very emotional for some reason. I was like crying. So that's what happened here too, even though I wasn't like put under or anything. So we drove home and they tell you immediately after the surgery that they want you to go to sleep for at least like 3 hours. And you might think like, okay, well, what if I'm not tired, or like what if I just can't fall asleep? And honestly, the Valium and kind of the like experience of the surgery, it really tires you out. So when I got home, like my head hit the pillow. I slept in the eye shields. My head hit the pillow and I just like knocked out for I think 5 hours, I want to say. Like, it was quite a while. And the most amazing thing happens when you wake up from your nap. You open your eyes and like this feeling is so indescribable. I woke up and I could just see. Like, I could see perfectly, as if I was wearing glasses, and honestly even better than I could see with my glasses. I literally like just broke down crying like right as soon as I woke up. It was just a really, really awesome feeling. I remember crying, like calling my mom, crying like, "Mom, I'm awake, I can see." And like she started crying and we were all emotional. And I went over to where my fiance was in the office, and he was like, "Okay, let's practice reading things from far away," and I did, and I made like a TikTok about it, and it was so awesome. I will say that it wasn't like I could see very clearly. It wasn't 100% perfect yet. And the other thing is that when you look at yourself in the mirror afterwards, there's gonna obviously be some bruising. Like, I had a lot of redness on my eyes, and that lasted for about 3 to 4 weeks after the surgery. So I kind of had to, whenever I went out in public, I had to like explain to people, like, "No, I'm okay, like, don't worry, I got LASIK like a few weeks ago, like my eyes are still healing." So that part was a little annoying, but it honestly wasn't too bad, and the redness started to slowly go away, and you know, now they look like they were never even touched. Something else I didn't know about LASIK was that it's actually new. It's like a new feature of the technology where if you have an astigmatism, which is, I think it's basically when you stare at a light, it kind of like glares, or you kind of see like double of it almost. It actually works to correct that a little bit more too. And I've noticed a huge improvement in my night vision, because I used to be actually kind of like iffy about driving at night because of that, and my night vision was like not good at all. So I would be really nervous about driving at night, but now that my astigmatism is more corrected, I'm able to drive more confidently and I feel safer, which is really awesome. Another thing you'll notice, I'm sure maybe you've noticed it a little bit in this video, but so I'm like looking right at the camera right now, and if you can tell, one of my eyes, I'm not sure which one it is, but one of them is a little more in. Like, one of them is straight and one of them goes in a little bit more. That is something I do not believe LASIK can fix, and I even asked about that too in my consult, but for me, it didn't really bother me that much. Like, sometimes I see it in pictures and things like that, but you know, I choose not to be really bogged down by it. It's really kind of a minor thing, and my larger goal was just to be able to see clearly. So what I had to do after that, I didn't have to wear the shields all day anymore, but I did have to wear them to sleep, I think for a full week or two after the surgery. But during the day I could just be without them. And then for the first week I had to be really diligent with eye drops that they were giving me. One of the biggest things that I experienced after the surgery, and this was probably exacerbated too because I already had dry eyes going into LASIK, after the surgery my eyes were so so freaking dry. I did not know what to do with myself. Like, I was constantly putting drops in. And they do give you like a hefty box of like artificial tears, and I was just using those all the time. I would say that the dryness went away probably a month after the surgery. Like, it started to go down a little bit, where I only had to use it, you know, maybe 3 times a day, and then now I just basically don't use them at all, only sometimes when they happen to get dry. They also give precautions for, I think, about a month or 2 after surgery. They don't want you swimming because of like the chlorine that can get in your eyes. They don't want you doing like extreme sports, like don't friggin' go ziplining like the week after you get LASIK. But other than that, I could pretty much continue daily life as normal. And yeah, recovery was a pretty mild process. So like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it does take a few months for your eyes to settle into 20/20 vision like perfectly. Even now, like whenever I close my left eye, I do kind of notice that my right eye is not 100%, and it just does take a while for it to kind of get to that good point of it being like the clearest it'll be. I did speak to the surgeon, and it's possible that it won't be like 100% like crystal clear, but my left eye honestly is, or at least that's what it looks like to me. And when I have both of my eyes open together, I don't really even notice the blurriness of the right eye. It just kind of depends, like going into the surgery, what the state of your eyes already are. And for me, I had, you know, really poor vision, and so it's just gonna take a bit for my eyes to stabilize. So yeah, that's kind of what the entire process was like. It's been March, April, May, June, July. It's been about 6 months since my surgery. I am overall extremely happy with the results. I'm glad that I found a place that I really loved, and the surgeon was awesome. Overall, I had a really awesome LASIK experience. I am so happy that I ended up getting it. I wouldn't change it for the world. It was, you know, one of the best investments I made in myself. And yeah, overall, just very, very happy with it. So now the big question I think on all your minds is, how much did this miracle, magical surgery cost? Firstly, the eye institute that I did get the surgery from was already having a special for, I think, $1,200 off for both eyes, like together, because the way they price it usually is per eye, and so I think it was $1,200 off total. And then secondly, depending on which insurance you have, insurance will cover a small portion of LASIK. I don't think it's not considered like a medically necessary surgery, and so I don't think as much of it is covered. I think my insurance covered about 10%, 5 or 10, I don't remember exactly. And then the last thing is they might be able to give a discount if you or a spouse or family member are active military or healthcare workers. And at the time, I was a healthcare worker, so I did get that 5% discount. And so the grand total of what it came out to was $4,000. I would say, based on my research, that this is pretty typical. There's going to be some variance between places, just based on kind of all those factors I talked about, but I do think like across the board, anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 is kind of where things line up. A lot of places are really flexible with the way that you're able to pay for it, so they'll actually use care credit so that you're able to pay monthly installments up to, I think, 24 months if I'm not mistaken, and that way it's kind of easier for you to like spread the payments out a little bit, and that you're not paying as much up front. So that is the option I did. It's interest free, which is amazing because I'm somebody that has student loans, and if you do too, then you know that interest is a freaking killer. Another question that I've gotten from people is, how long do the effects of LASIK last? long story short is they're supposed to last pretty much up until you start to hit that age where you experience more farsightedness, which is why, I don't know, some of your parents might, like when they're reading something, they'll like put it out here. My parents started doing that recently. And honestly, that's okay with me, because even if I didn't get LASIK, that would kind of be the natural progression of things. You know, as we get older, our vision kind of like slowly starts to get worse, and we start to need like reading glasses and things like that. So basically, LASIK will last me up until I'm around like 50-ish. And honestly, that is good for me, because I get 25 good years of perfect vision, and it's awesome while you're young to be able to have that. I am actually at the age group where they say it's most effective to get LASIK. Again, because that's when your vision tends to plateau, and when you experience like the greatest benefits from LASIK. And then you do have like all this time, around 20-25 years, to have stable vision up until that point of like aging. I do believe that there is like a period of maintenance, so I think in about 10 years I'll have to go in and just, if anything needs to be corrected a little bit, they will do that. It's almost kind of like breast implants, that like after that 10-year mark you kind of go in and do some maintenance, make sure everything looks okay, and just kind of like touching things up, making sure everything's all good. So yeah, we went over a lot of things today. This has been my experience with LASIK. It's been a very positive one. I am really, really happy that I got it, and I think that honestly most people that do get it are very happy with the results. I might have to make like a part 2 video, or you know, I'll answer questions down in the comments below. So if you have any questions, concerns, you want to talk about LASIK, then just leave a comment down below and I will do my best to answer any and all of them. I hope this video was helpful. I know I gave a lot of like very specific details of the process and like the actual surgery. I hope that was helpful for you guys, and just give you kind of a better understanding of what the surgery is like, recovery, and then kind of just the long-term results. And if you are thinking about getting LASIK, let me know down in the comments, or if you've gotten LASIK before. I would love to hear about your experience, because I think it's really interesting just to kind of share what everybody went through. Everybody has their own experiences, good, bad. It helps to hear all of it, so definitely contribute to the conversation. And that is all for now. Really appreciate you guys checking out this video, and stick around for some more content. I'll be putting out here and there. Maybe we'll get consistent with the schedule, but for now this is what I wanted to chat about. I've been thinking about this video for a long time and felt like it was the right time to put it out there now that I have the full LASIK glow. Alright, thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!